Howdy, I'm Gray Pilgrim. Let me see, can I get this so that I can sit in there? Yeah, there. Oh boy. Here you see a bunch of guns. Whole bunch of guns. But they have one thing in common. Just one thing. They're all different calibers. They're all different firing systems. They all use different juju. But they're all the same in one respect. Let me show you. This is a Colt. It was called the New Series, and it's a small 22 short rimfire. This is a Smith & Wesson #1 Type 2, also 22 short, also rimfire. These two are both 32 rimfire, short. One of them is a Ifer Johnson, and this one is a Harrington and Wesson, as in Frank Wesson. And speaking of Frank Wesson, this is a Frank Wesson 22 short or long rimfire rifle. It's called the Double Trigger, and it's one of my favorites. This, of course, oh my, can you even see these? Let me get this down, just down a scotch. What's that? There. Okay. This, oh, well, this is an 1863 Springfield government model. I think it's a 54 caliber. And this was a 44 pinfire LaFano that's been converted to centerfire by the addition of a firing pin here and having all of the chambers reamed out with for here. It still has the notches for the pinfire, but no longer functions for it because the hammer with the rim thing, which came up to here, has been filed off, and now it just relies on this pin. But it's in 44, and I found that if you take 44 special and just trim a scotch off the end of the cartridge, load it with black powder, and put a 44 conical in it, works like a champ in it. Now, the other ones here, this is a J.C. Higgins Sears Roebuck, and this is a Stevens rolling block, both of them in 22 long rifle. These are boys' rifles, the kind that the kids would have. Matter of fact, my dad bought this when I was a kid, and technically it belongs to my son because I think Dad bought this in a pawn shop somewhere, and he paid something like 20 bucks for it. But anyway, what every one of these has in common, and you notice, by the way, some of these are 19th century rimfire, some of them are 19th century rimfire 22, some are 19th century centerfire. One of them is paper cartridge, but they all have one thing in common. Not one of them is provided with a serial number. Not one. And this is a government-made gun here. None of these were developed. I mean, right now, the ATF is all Twitter over, we got to have serial numbers on all these ghost guns out here. Well, these are technically ghost guns, but they're ghost guns that are 100 to 160 to 180 years old that have been around for longer than God was a corporal. And yet, these are the kinds of things that they're really scared somebody's going to go off and rob a liquor store with or commit a terrorist act. I'm a collector of ancient firearms. I love old guns, and I've got quite a few of them, as you can tell. Matter of fact, these are 22 rimfires up here. Not one of those has a serial number either. These both, I mean, this and this, rather pricey guns by today's markets. But, you know, I mean, I've got flintlocks. I've got a blunderbuss. I've got a mortar launcher. It's a fun gun to shoot. I mean, we've shot it once. No, actually, we shot it twice. And it's, oh God, it is so fun. just to lob a tennis ball into the air is just hilarious. And it just, though unfortunately the tennis ball landed in my neighbor's yard, and he has a bull mastiff, and I wasn't going to complain about, I mean, the dog wants to take my ball, be my guest. I'm not going to go over there and argue about it. But, oh, and I got a whole bunch of old cap and ball revolvers. I don't think any of them have a serial number either. I never looked, but, you know, I've documented what I can about what they are, but I don't know if they were ever made with a serial number on them. But anyway, you know, I feel like, you know, if they pass some kind of new rule for from the Richmond, north of Richmond, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do, because I'm not about to etch a serial number onto these things. I'm not going to etch anything on them. They're priceless the way they are. And this one is a family heirloom. And yeah, it's a piece of junk. It was worth $20 back in the day, but it's worth a fortune to me because this has all the memories of my childhood and some of my kids. And this had some boy's childhood on it, but his dad sold it off, and I bought it because I always wanted one like this. You know, it's the only rolling block I've got in my collection. So, but anyway, my point is, I was just talking about this. You know, I'm thinking, I was talking to my cousin and some other buddies about it, and I'm just thinking, this is so ridiculous. ATF's going all crazy over various gun things. Meanwhile, the Middle East is blowing up, Ukraine is blowing up, and what do Israel and Ukraine have in common, besides milking the U.S. taxpayer? And that is that the minute they got attacked, they canceled all their gun control and said, oh, by the way, citizens, here, have an AK-47 or have a Galil assault rifle. You know, they don't care. When they're being attacked, they want all the warm bodies out there fighting as they can. You know, that's just the way the old men politicians think. They want control until their real control is about to be lost, and then they want you to fight for them and, you know, risk life and limb to protect their meal ticket. Anyway, enough of my rant for the day. Happy trails.